Have you ever found yourself in an embarrassing situation, like waving at someone who was waving at someone else? Now let me paint you a picture. Imagine a sunny day in the park. Birds are chirping, kids are laughing. And there's a delightful man, let's call him Bob. Bob's enjoying his day, basking in the sunshine, when he spots a stranger across the park, arm raised in a friendly wave. Being the sociable chap that Bob is, he enthusiastically waves back. He even throws in a cheery smile for good measure, but wait, the plot thickens. As Bob's hand is mid-air, waving like a flag on a breezy day, he realizes something. The stranger's gaze isn't fixed on him. It's focused on someone behind him. The horror, the embarrassment, the sheer awkwardness of the situation washes over Bob like a tidal wave. Now we can all imagine what's going on in Bob's head right now. A frantic internal monologue starts. Oh no! The wave wasn't for me. What do I do now? Do I pretend I was swatting a fly, or maybe I was just stretching my arm? Poor Bob. He's in the throes of an awkward wave conundrum. In an attempt to recover, Bob does what any of us would do in this situation. He quickly transforms his wave into a casual hair slick back. Nice save, Bob, but we all know the truth. The awkward wave has claimed another victim. But let's not judge Bob too harshly, because, let's face it, we've all been Bob at some point. We've all misinterpreted a wave, a nod, or a smile from a stranger, and we've all had that sinking feeling of embarrassment when we realize our mistake. So, next time you find yourself in a similar situation, remember Bob. Remember his awkward wave and his frantic attempts to save face. And remember that it's okay to laugh at yourself. After all, life's too short to take these little embarrassments too seriously. And there you have it, folks, the awkward wave. We've all been there, haven't we? Ever ended up in an elevator with your noisy neighbor from the third floor? Picture this. You're having a peaceful day. You've just returned from grocery shopping, and you're ready to head up to your apartment. You step into the elevator, and just as the doors start to close, a hand shoots in, stopping them. Guess who? Yes, your noisy neighbor from the third floor, the king of late-night parties himself. This is the guy who thinks 2 in the morning is a perfect time to start a karaoke session. The guy whose idea of a quiet evening is blasting heavy metal music until the wee hours, and now you're trapped in an elevator with him. Hey, he says, grinning like he's just won the lottery. Long time no see. You smile back, trying to keep the conversation light. Yeah, been a while, you reply, hoping he doesn't notice the bags under your eyes from all the sleepless nights. He starts talking about his recent parties, and you nod along, trying to seem interested, but inside you're screaming. You're thinking about all the times his music kept you up, all the times you wanted to knock on his door and ask him to turn it down. But here you are, stuck in an elevator, nodding along to his party tales, and then the worst happens. The elevator jolts to a stop. You're stuck between floors, and the only company you have is Mr. Loud Music himself. You both look at each other, and then at the elevator buttons. It's going to be a while before help arrives. So, you do what anyone would do in that situation. You start talking about his parties, about the noise, about the sleepless nights, and he just nods, looking a little sheepish. It's awkward, it's uncomfortable, but hey, at least you got to say what you've been wanting to say for months. Ah, the elevator encounter. Nothing like a confined space to make things uncomfortable, right? Ever met someone you know you've met before, but you can't remember their name for the life of you? Oh, the horror. Picture this. You're at a party, just minding your own business, nibbling on some chips and dip, when out of nowhere, an acquaintance saunters over. You recognize the face, the smile, that quirky laugh, but their name, it's on the tip of your tongue, but it just won't come out. Now meet Jane. She's the protagonist of our tale today. Jane is a social butterfly, flitting from one gathering to another, meeting people left and right. But, alas, Jane has a bit of a problem. She's terrible with names. It's not her fault, really. Who can keep track of everyone they meet? So there she was at a party when she spotted a familiar face in the crowd. She knew him from somewhere. Was it yoga class? The grocery store? That salsa class she took on a whim? She couldn't put her finger on it, but there he was, walking towards her, a big grin on his face. "Hey, Jane," he said as he gave her a friendly wave. Jane's heart sank. She blanked. His name was. She drew a complete blank, but she couldn't let him know that. So, she did what any person in her situation would do. She improvised. "Hey you," she replied cheerfully, hoping her wide smile would hide her panic. She kept the conversation going, skillfully steering clear of any name references. She called him buddy, friend, mate, and every possible nickname she could think of. It was a masterful performance worthy of an Oscar if you ask me. But alas, the inevitable happened. Another friend joined them, looked at Jane expectantly and said, "Aren't you going to introduce us?" Jane smiled, laughed nervously and said, "Well, I think you two should introduce yourselves. It's more fun that way, isn't it?" The forgotten name, because who can remember everyone's name really? Ever send a personal email to the whole office by accident? Now that's a recipe for some serious crimson cheeks, my friends. Let's take a trip down memory lane, or should I say, the sent folder of our hapless friend Joe. One fateful Tuesday morning, Joe, a mild-mannered accountant, decides to send a saucy email to his wife. The subject, a detailed account of last night's dream, involving her, a tropical island, and a pair of coconut shells. You get the drift. But wait, plot twist. Joe's still groggy from his third cup of coffee. His fingers slip, and instead of hitting send to his wife, he accidentally hits reply all. Oh, the horror! The email is now on its merry way to every single person in his office. From the intern who started last week to the no-nonsense CEO, everyone's inbox is graced with Joe's, let's say, vivid imagination. Joe's face turns 50 shades of red as he realizes his colossal blunder. He frantically tries to recall the email, but alas, the damage is done. The office is buzzing with whispers and stifled laughter. The intern is blushing, the CEO raises an eyebrow, and let's not even get started on the office gossip queen who's having a field day. But wait, there's more. Joe's boss, a stern woman known for her lack of humor, calls for a meeting. Is this the end for our dear Joe? With a pounding heart, he walks into the meeting room, ready to face the music. But instead of a reprimand, his boss bursts into laughter. Turns out she found Joe's dream hilarious and decides to declare a reply all day where everyone shares a funny story with the whole office. Joe, the accidental hero, walks out of the meeting room, his embarrassment replaced with amusement. His email, intended for one, brought laughter to many. And just like that, an ordinary Tuesday turns into an unforgettable one. The accidental reply all. A modern nightmare, wouldn't you say? But remember, folks, even the most embarrassing situations can turn into the most hilarious stories. Now go check your sent folder just in case. Ever walked out of a public restroom with a trail of toilet paper stuck to your shoe? Picture this, folks, a sunny Saturday afternoon, downtown, bustling with people enjoying their weekend. Our protagonist, a stylish woman, fresh out of a boutique, strutting her stuff, feeling like $1,000,000, enter the public restroom. A quick pit stop. Nothing more. She exits, ready to conquer the world. But alas, unbeknownst to her, she's got an uninvited guest tagging along. A long, flimsy trail of toilet paper stubbornly clinging to her shoe. As she sways down the crowded sidewalk, a snicker here, a chuckle there begins to ripple through the crowd. Whispered pointing, suppressed laughter, a few empathetic cringes. The world becomes her stage, and she, the unwitting star of a comedy she never auditioned for. But here's the kicker, folks. She's completely oblivious to it all. Oblivious to the toilet paper trail waving like a flag behind her. Oblivious to the laughter. Oblivious to the fact that her walk of confidence has turned into a parade of hilarity. She stops at a cafe, orders a latte. The barista struggles to keep a straight face. She turns, catches her reflection in the glass. And there it is, the toilet paper flapping in the breeze. The realization hits. The horror, the embarrassment, the desperate attempt to play it cool as she peels the paper off her shoe. But you know what? She takes it in stride, tosses her hair, takes her latte, and walks out, leaving behind a room full of chuckles and a story that'll be told and retold. The toilet paper trail, a classic, but still as embarrassing as ever. Hey folks, if these hilarious everyday blunders brought a smile to your face, then you'll definitely want to stick around for more. How can you do that? It's simple. Just hit that follow button and subscribe to our channel. That way, you won't miss out on any of our entertaining content. Also, we're sure you've got your own share of embarrassing stories. Why not share them with us in the comments? Who knows? Your story might just make it into one of our future videos. Remember, laughter is the best medicine. So, let's keep the laughs coming. Until next time, keep smiling, keep laughing, and keep embracing life's little blunders.